Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Rosmo. So in today's video, I'll be talking about Steven Universe the movie, requested by my patron Amanda. So I saw in the previous video where I said I'll be tackling this movie, I was asked why I said it's a can of worms. Steven Universe the movie, and oh boy, let's open that can of worms in the next video, huh? And that is because if you've heard of Steven Universe, you might have heard of its toxic fandom incidents or the discussion about the series' social political ideologies that are far from sensitive. But luckily, this movie is free from those problems to an extent, but of course, it's still connected to the series nonetheless. That's why it's a can of worms, okay? I still like it though. So before I continue, I just want to say let's all be polite in the comment section when sharing opinions, okay? Okay. So if you haven't watched Steven Universe the movie, go ahead and watch it since this video will have spoilers. And I kind of want to urge you to watch it even if you haven't watched the series because the characters do have introductions at the start of the movie and the songs are just an absolute banger. You definitely wouldn't want to miss out on the songs. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's start. And as always, this video is going to be split into 3 parts: the story, the characters, and then the music. I specifically put the music at the last because I want to talk about each song. So, Steven Universe the movie is an animated musical film based on the Cartoon Network series named Steven Universe that was created by Rebecca Sugar. Now, the story of the movie is sort of simple. After Steven frees the gems from universal tyranny, he builds a place on Earth where humans and gems can live together, meets a gem he's never known before that attacks him and his friends. His friends poof along with the unknown gem, and for those who don't know, poofing is like being unconscious for gems, and when they do become conscious, they don't remember anything and was like a reset for them. They had amnesia or something. Or in Bismuth's words,
one hit with this, you're back to how they made you.
Steven gets discouraged and needs help. Bismuth, Lapis, and Peridot offer the help and then gets set aside for the rest of the movie. Barnes syndrome, am I right? Spinel gets her memories back, they reconcile, and then they fight, and then everything is well again. Yay! And then Spinel leaves to be with the diamonds. Now, this is my second time watching this movie after it premiered 2 years ago, and I only noticed a misconception that I had. At first, Spinel seemed like a clingy, happy child that would get annoying at some points, but is still very innocent and childlike. But after watching the movie, she's nothing like that at all. You can see when Spinel reset, she could be left alone. She could be far from Steven and not bug him. She would stop playing when asked or if she feels like her playmate doesn't want to play.
Would you cut that out? Please?
You guys not know how to play tag?
The only time she started to get clingy was when Steven unlocked one of her pieces. Pieces is what they call when one of the resetted gems remembers something from their past. And I was amazed to see that. I didn't notice it the first time watching before. She started to get clingy and refused to stay behind when Steven specifically told her to stay, and we know why now. And another piece was unlocked when Steven disappeared during Pearl's song number. And I also noticed that one of Garnet's pieces was unlocked during that attempt to unlock Pearls without them even knowing. And for those who don't know, it was unlocked because as soon as Garnet fused for the first time before, she met Rose Quartz. And I guess that was like a core memory for her, I think. I guess that's what they're trying to say. So aside from that little tidbit that increases its rewatch value, another one is at the start where you can see Spinel when the diamonds made an announcement. See her foot there and it's still wrapped in plants. The music even changes slightly at that moment, very subtly.
Much as I've loved dismantling the Empire and saving all your planets, I can't wait to get home and spend some quality.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, I actually invited another content creator on this platform to watch this movie, to know if this movie is a good watch to people who haven't seen the series prior to watching the movie. So here's Kurumi Aozora from Project Kawaii to give her insights on the movie.
Hello everyone, my name is Aozora Kurumi and I'm from Project Kawaii. Thank you Rosmo for inviting me to watch this movie. I feel like I have to give a few disclaimers before I start. I just want to say that I do love cartoons very, very much. Unfortunately, I haven't had the time to watch them at all in the recent years. And I have seen a lot of Steven Universe posters, clips, and GIFs floating around, especially back in the ye old Tumblr days. And I think the biggest reason why I never touched Steven Universe was because of the art style. I'm actually not a big fan of the art style. I remember when I first saw it and everybody was talking about it, I was kind of like, maybe next time. I was kind of like, skeptical just because of the art style, but now that I've watched it, I feel like I can kind of give my opinion about this movie and mayhaps what I feel and think about this whole Steven Universe franchise and what has changed. First things first, I went into this movie not knowing a single thing. I didn't know what the story was about. I did not know a single thing about the lore. I know what they look like, but I didn't know what they were. Like all the characters. I basically went in blind, and I was worried that there was no backstory, and then I would just have to pick up whatever clue that they were, dropping throughout the movie. But thankfully, they did provide a backstory. I'm sure it's not elaborate, maybe it's just a little bit here and there, but it was good enough for me to understand what the heck was going on. And it was very helpful to say the least, though there are still many things unknown. But I think for somebody who is watching it for the first time, at least I could still follow the story and understand who's who, where they came from, and all that jazz. And again, I knew nothing about this movie and the Steven Universe series, so I did not know that it was actually a musical. I didn't know that there were music involved. And honestly, I was just pleasantly surprised to find out that it was, and the songs are absolutely amazing. Being in my line of occupation, I guess you can say, we are kind of obsessed with voice acting. We always try to find out who's the voice actor or actresses behind the voice, and try to learn a thing or two from them. With this one, oh my goodness gracious, the voice acting was so amazing. The songs were so good. The singing was amazing. It was just, I actually watched this movie twice just because of the music. The story was interesting to say the least, but it was the music and the voice acting for me, how they portrayed the character. It was as if they really embodied the character. I loved it so much. And I knew Estelle was a voice actor in the series. I didn't know who she was at first, so I went into this thinking, you know what, I probably just like whoever she's gonna voice act as. I thought that was just gonna be my favorite character, but no. I actually have another favorite character, and her name is Spinell, which was voiced by Sarah Stiles. And Spinell, oh my goodness, her voice was so true to the character that I literally paused the movie and I had to go and Google who's the voice actress, and I went to listen to all the songs sang live by this singer, and I love it so much. If you guys love musical, I would say give it a try in case you haven't. I found out the songs were on Spotify, which is a really great news to me because I can now repeat them over and over again without watching the movie 2 more times or 3 more times. And if I were to give this movie a rating, I think I'll give it maybe 8 out of 10. I took 2 points just because of the art. It's really not my thing. If it was a different art style, I might give it a chance. And if I had a reason to give the series a go, it'd probably be because of the music and the voice acting. I'm not really into the story. I don't know. It is interesting, but not to the point where I would go out of my way to watch it. So yeah, there's that. And I would say it was worth 2 watches. The songs were great. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this movie. I hope this gave you guys a little bit of insight from a person who's never seen this movie or the series before. And thank you again, Rosmo, for this opportunity. Thank you. See you around, bromigos.
I'll say that as much as I feel weirded out about them adding Spinel, without thinking about her prior to Rose's character, even though they said it was stated that everything was planned from the beginning, but the fans know that's not true based on what's happened with Rose. But outside of that fact, the story of Spinel was nice, and I liked how she was really trying to change. Can't help but feel fear of being abandoned again, which is normal since you don't change overnight, and then understood that she needs to work hard, and she's willing to do so.
Friendship isn't going to be easy for me. I'm gonna have to work at it. You make me want to try, but
I also like that in the song True Kinda Love, Steven said, "I'll do the hardest part with you." Sounds beautiful, right? Well, it would have been if he didn't just hand out Spinel to the diamonds and left it at that. I know she wanted a fresh start, but at least stay with her to Homeworld until she was fully comfortable with the diamonds, so that the line in the song made so much more depth and emotion, knowing that he did stay with her through at least one of the hard parts. All in all, the recap of each of the Crystal Gems' character was great, and it never fails to make me tear up, especially when Ruby and Sapphire are involved, and except for maybe Pearl, cause let's be honest, it's kinda twisted. But I guess Pearl points for them pointing that out, and for Dee Dee's voice, because I just freaking love her voice. The comedy in this movie, though, is on point. All the jokes, at least for me, land one way or another, and even those that aren't supposed to be funny, like how Steven manages to say the wrong words at exactly the right time.
is that all you needed me for? To turn off my injector?
No, well, sort of.
It's so frustrating to watch, but then he did it one last time by shouting at Spinell, who, may I remind you, is in a violent fit at the moment, and then he got punched. And I'm sorry, it really made me laugh.
Spinell, this isn't a game! Huh?
Every time Spinell got snarky like these scenes,
You can't just make everything better by singing some stupid song! This is how you started? The legend? Steven Universe?
it felt funny to me because, I get this feeling like she has a point. She kind of has a point. I also want to give a quick mention to the details of the gems reforming back. All their forms flashed, and some of them we haven't seen before, even in the series. And it was really interesting, and also seeing Pearl have her pilot form there for a brief moment. It was really a cool addition. And the ending was just great. Not this ending, but how they closed off the movie. As much as there were thorns in this franchise, I can't help but feel like everything up to this point, seeing them close this series and the movie off like this, gave that ending with a bang kind of vibe. Never mind. The ending of the movie is great nonetheless. When Steven hit that note and shed a tear, I'll admit, I did too.
Happily ever after, never end.
Because I've watched the show for a while, and seeing them close off in a musical number about the beauty of changing, it's just nice. Next is the characters. Let's talk about the main focus of the movie before we go to the main crystal gems. Let's start with Spinell. Now, Spinell is a wonderful character. Her introduction was just great. She was menacing and really showed us her playful side in the midst of her anger. In an interview, Rebecca Sugar mentioned that Spinell was inspired by her experience of leaving her stuffed toy in the garden once, and also inspired her to write the Adventure Time song Everything Stays.
I left the stuffed rabbit in the garden and I completely forgot about it, even though it had been my favorite toy. And I found it maybe half a year later. I think a part of that is in Spinell.
Which I understood her point, and I think it's a really nice observation in mundane experiences to translate in a different way. But to me, I feel like the intentions behind said action is different. With Rebecca's experience, she didn't mean to and just forgot. In Pink Diamond's case, she deliberately left her. I'm not defending Pink Diamond in any way, but do you get what I'm saying about intention? Her design was perfect for the character though. They modeled her after old-timey cartoons that can be said are forgotten, since nobody really uses those kinds of designs in modern cartoons anymore. Well, at the time the movie was released at least. And it tells us about her character being forgotten by Pink in the garden. Adding googly eyes on her character though did serve two purposes. It made her look silly, and it made her very unsettling when in her first introduction. Let's talk about her voice. Everyone already said this, but Spinell's voice is phenomenal. The constant growling of her voice and the different inflections, the many emotions she conveyed with her voice alone, not to mention having a sweet and playful voice, and then having the same playfulness, but this time menacing. It's amazing what Sarah Styles did. That is a given, okay? She's great. Check out this few seconds of dialogue and listen how she manages to show Spinell's frustration, anger, disappointment, and intimidation.
Oh, you're so protective of your real friends, and you're so careless with your fake ones!
Stop it!
Then stop me! You wanna attack me, just admit it! Or better yet, just try it!
And in another scene, it's crisp and clear how dejected and broken she sounds.
What am I doing? Why do I want to hurt you so bad? I'm supposed to be a friend. I just want to be a friend.
The reason why I liked Spinell is because she's the antagonist, and she's really owning it. And that's rare for a Steven Universe antagonist, kinda. She's scary, she's mysterious, she really wants to kill Steven without any hesitation. She even addressed it herself.
You know, I came here to take my anger out on a bunch of strangers, but now that I know you, I want to kill you even more.
And also, one last thing I want to mention before moving on to the characters is that the thing that made Spinell's story so heartbreaking personally wasn't because she was left alone and abandoned. I mean, that's part of it, yeah. But because she was made to be a friend, right? And when they said she's the best friend, they really do mean it. She radiates the ride or die energy kind of friend that everyone needs. I just find it sad that she was made to be a friend. But the ones she befriends, even though she's really good at it, she always gets dejected. Spinell tried to match Pink's playful side, and we know how that ended. Spinell Spinel tries to cheer Steven up, but that never works and is even framed like she doesn't fit in with the crystal gems at all. Like this scene. Next is Steven, and I'll be honest with you, I like Steven when he was a kid. He was a pick-me-up character. He made a bunch of mistakes, and that's just because he's a kid. And I can understand that. But older Steven, I'm not so tolerable. His arc in this movie is that he lost his powers like when he was a kid. But that really didn't mean he had to regress mentally as a kid. It would have been great to contrast his maturing self to how he would deal with things with his premature gem. In Steven's defense though, I like how he takes things into his own hands, but I feel uncomfortable that this boy is worshipped by the diamonds and treated like this massive savior when all he does is use talk no jutsu. He even has a sort of worship song about how great and kind he is. It just feels undeserved and forced, but that goes outside the movie, so let's just brush it off. Let's talk about the crystal gems. This movie reverted them back to how they were originally, how they were programmed for their roles for the system called Homeworld. And it's just all kinds of fun. Pearl treating Greg like royalty and him being obviously weirded out by it is funny. How the snarky Amethyst is just sitting there and blankly staring off to space, and I love seeing Ruby and Sapphire's love blossom again, and seeing Garnet fuse for the first time again, contradicting as that may sound. The other crystal gems are Bismuth, Lapis, and Peridot, and I really did hope to see them shine and jump into action because we rarely see them do anything, and the little glimpse of Bismuth being a leader and empowering Steven was great, but it left it at that, so that was kind of a waste. Though Peridot had so little screen time, but everything and every encounter she had really made me laugh.
Get away from me. I can't stand to see you all vacant and bereft of personality.
Yo, I'm back, you dip.
Oh, well, you're just in time for the end of the world!
I can't say anything for Lapis. The only noteworthy thing she had in the movie was the animators giving her these long eyelashes. She never had that before. Then we go to Greg, and I just want to mention the crap that he has to go through in this movie. I can't help but feel for Greg because he has to babysit his former rival, even serving him, which is kind of weird. And his friend is an empty shell, and seeing his late wife that I know must have been hard on him. No, I know it was hard on him.
Do this. Hey, Greg.
I'm sure that the others have it rough seeing her image as well, but unlike everyone else, Greg loved his wife while everyone remembers her with disdain, like Steven, or confusion and admiration that was soon shattered after learning how bad she was, like the crystal gems.
I lost someone very important to me too. I miss her every single day and I think about her all the time. But she's never coming back. That feeling can be so hard to be okay with.
So props to Greg for still keeping his best dad trophy until the movie. Next are the diamonds, and I'll admit I like every appearance they have. They're so sassy and funny and so entertaining. I just have to forget the fact that they were dictators and killed a lot of gems and didn't really get a proper punishment for that, and all is well. Then last up is Rose, or Pink Diamond, and I'm sure it's weird for me to talk about this character since she's already passed on and not really doing much in the movie aside from backstory, but she's still a pivotal character in this movie because she caused Spinell's suffering, as well as everyone else's. Now, because of this movie, a lot of people mentioned how much of a despicable person Rose is, especially Steven, who had to go through so much crap because of her past mistakes. But at the same time, I can't really hate her because her character was written so badly and inconsistently that I don't even think and want to believe Rose Quartz or Pink Diamond is real. I'm not sympathizing with her or defending her. All of what she did is bad, but unlike Spinell, there wasn't much vile intention or villainy in her. It's just, okay, here's Rose Quartz, she did a bunch of stuff, but it's not her fault when it is, you know? From the series and everything leading up to the movie, her hands were washed clean of her bads. And you know, it's hard to look at her as a character, but just a plot device to put the blame on everything. Which is kind of sad of the franchise to just dump all this villainy on a dead character just because it's convenient. But Pink Diamond still sucks, and we can collectively agree on that. She's just written as this horrible, naive person. Next is the music, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk about this. When I first watched it, I kept listening to the songs for a month, and now I rewatched it after 2 years, and I'm gonna keep it on loop again for a long time. It's just that good. The first song in the opening of the movie is Tale of Steven, with the vocals of Blue Diamond voiced by Lisa Hannigan, Yellow Diamond voiced by the theater actress Patti LuPone, and White Diamond as Christine Ebersol.
Everyone believes in Steven.
It is an earworm and wonderful to listen to over and over again, especially with the harmony. But it feels off-putting when you realize it's like a worship song to Steven. But story-wise, it makes sense because the diamonds are just groveling upon Steven's feet for some reason. Next is Let Us Adore You.
Come live with us in the palace. There's a room waiting for you.
And I just love this song, especially when you can check the solo vocals of each Diamonds on YouTube so you can learn the harmonies. It's all fun. This song shows the affection of the Diamonds for Steven because he was the last trace of Pink Diamond, which from the lyrics it seemed really obsessive and unhealthy, but that wasn't addressed, so canonically it's not a problem. It still seemed unhealthy that they cling so much on anything related to Pink, but the song is still a banger, okay? It was also discussed online that it was inspired to capture old-timey music styles like barbershop trio, which usually is a quartet, but in this case a trio. But I know there's a more specific term for that kind of style. If you know, please leave it down in the comments. Next is Happily Ever After, which details all of their character arcs, their priorities, and everything Garnet, Amethyst, Pearl, and Steven went through prior to the movie. And I'll admit, hearing Steven sing about his experiences made me emotional, and hearing Pearl's voice singing about her realization about not being an independent Pearl, or how she's trying to move on to an unrequited love even if it's for her master, let's not get into that, was nice. And a bonus, if you pay attention to the bass, the animation matches up with the bass in the song, even to the awesome riff if you can hear it. Well, the right hand at least. And it's weird that she only plucks with her middle finger and not both, but that's just a little thing personally for me. I still appreciate that a lot though. Also, my favorite part of her solo was her singing emotionally the fantasy part.
We became our fantasy.
The emotion was just strong in that part. Next is Garnet, and we all know where this is going. The soft riff of Sapphire's song in the middle was beautiful and really made me cry.
Suddenly they were fusing.
Ruby and Sapphire's love is beautiful, and reminiscing on it with this solo from Garnet was a nice reminder. Also, for all the Filipinos out there, this cake Steven bubbled in the song is actually ube cake, which another character made. Wala lang, share ko lang. And then Amethysts, which I really like since she focuses more on accepting her flaws and really has a big heart for her family. And unlike Pearl's section where it's strong and emotional, or Garnet's upbeat yet soft instrumental, Amethyst was solemn and personal, with the drums softer than the others. So that was cool.
I came out late and alone.
And next is Other Friends, and I just know from back then everyone just flipped out on this song. It's such a bop.
That's right, I heard the story over and over again. Gee, it's swell to finally meet her other friends.
Sarah Styles just went all out on the voice and the emotion in this one, like every other song in the soundtrack, of course. But this one just expressed such raw anger and playfulness, and everyone loved it. It's so amusing to watch, and they made the animation smoother for Spinell's rubber-like arms and legs. Her actions in this song were menacing, especially the part where she surprises Steven by jumping in front of him. Even I got intimidated by seeing her like that, move so fast and threatening everyone like she's just playing around. At first glance, you might think she looks wonky and silly, but damn, with just a few minutes, she becomes frightening. The next song is titled System/boot.pearl_final3. Now, I don't know what the 3 in the title means. Maybe it's after 3 revisions in this song. Nevertheless, it's titled that way because the gems are like really complicated programs. They were made to do a certain purpose, and in this song, we can see how pearls come to be. They're a gem kind that are servants, as sad as it is, but this song is really funny when you see how the dynamic between Greg and Pearl changed, especially since he's weirded out that Pearl is serving him. And of course, no matter what, the song, I like listening to Dee Dee Magno-Hall's voice because she's just really good and really nice to listen to. Next is Who We Are.
As long as one of us is standing to brandish the star,
We'll find a way to save the day.
that's who we are.
This is when Steven gets really sad and Bismuth, an OG crystal gem rebel, lifts his spirits, and it was really nice and really encouraging, and I really hope that that was the time where Bismuth gets time to shine and show off how she does things, but we all know how that ended, but it's still a kick-ass song. Then there's Isn't It Love. This is where Garnet sings about her experience being a fusion for the first time, but at the same time, she's back again.
Suddenly a genius, I'm suddenly a fool.
I like that lyrics. I like the video. Nothing much to say. It's just a sweet and short song overall. Next is No Matter What. This song is dedicated to Steven and Amethyst's friendship, and out of all the songs of each crystal gem, this one really made me feel that Steven had a strong connection to one of the gems. It's wholesome and really touching. Like all the other songs are about their past, but with Amethyst, all it took was just hanging out with Steven and being there for her when she needs him the most, and I think it's beautiful. Also, the overlapping repeated vocals was a nice touch too.
no matter what,
No matter what.
no matter what,
No matter what.
no matter what, no matter what, no matter what.
No matter what.
Next is Disobedient, and at first I didn't like it because I was new to Sadie's voice in a rock song and it kind of felt like she was not used to a rock song, but I soon learned to love it, and also the way it started was really funny.
Who's here for the show? Who's here? Because it's the end of the world!
Wait, what?
Watching it again, I can't believe I missed this one before the song where Steven says,
This has gotta bring Pearl's memories back. It's all about quitting a crummy service job.
I'm surprised that I didn't notice before that of course it wouldn't work, because one, Pearl didn't quit serving Pink Diamond, and second, it wasn't crappy for her, as sad as that sounds. She loved assisting Rose, so it was obviously not going to work. But that end part, where the song slows down, it really shows they desperately want her to remember. It hammered in the feeling of disappointment.
Disobedient. Disobedient.
Then Independent Together, and okay, it's a given that it's a really good song and their vocals were so good here. But Opal suddenly appearing and singing the chorus just gave me goosebumps.
My words, it's my voice. Independent together.
Fun fact that I'm sure everyone already knows, but Steg, it's their fusion name apparently, was voiced by Ted Leo. And Opal's voice actor Amy Mann are part of a duo called The Both. So it's kinda like seeing them perform together again but in a different form, which is fun to think about. And Amy Mann actually helped write the next song titled Drift Away, which focuses on Spinell's experience of being abandoned. Once again, a good song and great vocals, easy chords too, so it's a win in my book. A sad song, but it's still a bop. Then there's Found, and I'll admit when I first watched this, I didn't pay much attention to this song, but seeing it now, this is where Spinell decides to try and change and get better, and the music captures that.
You'll love again. You just need to find some.
It's beautiful to decide to work on your inner demons, but it's also scary, and I think that's why this song is so calm, yet so creepy. Next is True Kinda Love and Change. The first being Garnet's song talking about the true kind of love. And then the latter is where Steven remembers his powers of being able to change. And before singing it, it was actually really impressive to see him make a bubble with spikes, because back then, when this first came out, we've never seen him do all those things. It was so cool. Also, it kind of reminded me of Rose's message to Steven in the VHS tape where she thinks about human beings being able to change is an amazing thing, back when Rose was actually an enticing character. Next is Let Us Adore You reprised, that of course I'm gonna love, because the melodies and the harmonies are mixed together with the melodies of the previous creepy song, which was Found. It sounds really good. It made the creepy part of Found sound very uplifting now.
Today, right here, right now. Today,
Come live
Right
with us in the
right
past.
now.
There's a room waiting for
I'll love again.
But I kinda had a wait, hold up moment when I heard the lyrics of Spinell singing.
And you remind me so much of her.
They remind her of Pink? I have no experience and I'm not really an expert in this field, so correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it a bad thing that Spinell remembers the person who abandoned her? She just said she needed a fresh start, and I think the last thing she needs is someone who reminds her of Pink, whom she was so mad at that she'd hurt strangers. But that's just my take on the line. I still love the reprise either way. Then the final song, which is titled Finale, which I already said it. I loved it. I loved how it turned from the melody of Happily Ever After.
happily ever after. There we were, and here we are.
And then it switched to this happy tune.
So happily we'll face whatever comes our way.
And then this mellow part.
I can make a change.
Here we are in the future.
And then the grand musical key change of them on stage.
It's bright and 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 it's bright.
I'll be ready every day.
Oh, it's so good. In conclusion, this movie is just great. I'm talking about this movie alone when I say this. It's not perfect, of course, but I love it as it is. No revisions with Rosmo for this video because I don't really need to change anything here or want to bother, because if I did, I have to change so much, including the series. I really enjoyed this musical movie and its songs, and I recommend it to anyone who is interested in musicals or for those who want a stress reliever. I think this movie is just a fun watch. If you have any animated movie to recommend, drop it down in the comments. And if it's bad, then even better. so we can have a revisions with Rosmo. Thanks again, Amanda, for requesting this movie. It's a great throwback experience for me, and I'm gonna be having earworms of this soundtrack for the next couple of weeks. A big shout out to my patrons in the Butternut tier, Christian V, Amanda Rona Idange, and Kyle Chua. Thanks so much for watching. So yeah,